you're watching this video, odds are you want to start selling digital products on Etsy. And in specific, in today's video, I'm going to share with you everything that you need to know about selling Canva templates or editable Canva files on Etsy and start making passive income doing so. And if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Mac. I post videos talking about e-commerce, passive income, and different ways to make money online, and all things to do with Etsy. So if you're interested, I would love to have you as a part of our community here on YouTube. So first things first is, what is a digital product and how do we make money selling it? So what's so unique and awesome about digital products is there's absolutely no inventory. It is a physical file that you can sell indefinitely. And on top of this, there's no refunds or returns typically with digital products because you can't exactly take a file access back once you've given it to a customer. So very interesting and a really great way to start making passive income, because as it works on Etsy, once you upload that file, someone purchases it and Etsy just sends it directly to them automatically. So it really avoids or alleviates any sense of you having to ship anything or really do much customer service at all. So it's a really great way to start making passive income, and honestly is a great thing for beginners that want to start a business on Etsy. So step one in all of this is deciding what product you want to sell and what digital template or file is right for you. So there's thousands of different types of digital products you can sell, all the way from templates for cards, ebooks, e-guides, business cards, pretty much anything you can think of. And you can also sell digital products like wall art or different picture downloads that people can use and print out on their own. There's really so many different opportunities with it, but the key in that is deciding on something that you actually know you will be able to create. So that's what leads me into telling you to do a little bit of niche research. If you know anything about Etsy and Etsy success, there are mixed things, but in my opinion and my experience of being a seller for 5 years, niche specific stores do the best. If you're unfamiliar with a niche, it is essentially a topic or a specialty that you are going to be focusing on and creating products for. The beauty of a niche is that if you understand it, you are your target audience, which means you have an advantage of selling to people that are interested in that product because you yourself are a user. But I don't want to get too far ahead in this, but we are going to go ahead and take a look at how I would suggest doing a little bit of niche research if you're totally lost and don't know what you want to create. First things first is think of 3 to 5 different topics or niches that you would want to create in. So this can be professions, this can be social media, this can be pets or different invitations for bridal parties. There's so many different avenues that you could go, but essentially pick a niche, 3 to 5 of them that you want to start doing a little bit of research on to see if it's something that you'd want to create. Once you have those 3 to 5 niches, go ahead and just type them into your Etsy search bar. And then we can do a little bit of narrowing down by going up to a star seller and using the URL to narrow that down to bestsellers. Once you're on the bestseller page, this is essentially those products for the search term that you typed in that are selling the best and that people are actually looking for. So what I want you to do when you get here is take notes of different colors, different keywords, different ways that they're showcasing the products in the listing photos, and try to get an idea of different things that you may want to create in this niche or for the product that you searched. You can even add some to your favorites to come back to for inspiration later. Keyword inspiration, we are not copying, that doesn't get us anywhere. Inspiration, because what's already working in the market, don't fix what's not broken. Now, I like to take my research a bit of a step further. So if you are interested in doing this, I would recommend using a Chrome extension. What's really great about these is you can hook them up directly to your Etsy shop, and it will give you factual information about how much that listing is making and different things that the seller used to be so successful in it. So I personally use Everbee, which is an Etsy Chrome extension, and there's a lot of different features on the app to see exactly, as I said, how much someone's making, how many times that the item's been purchased, the keywords that they're using, and you can even use that whole bestseller page under the product analytics tool, and you can see which ones are selling the best, how many favorites they've gotten, their monthly revenue. It's a really, really useful tool. You can even copy and paste keywords from best-selling listings and curate your own tags, which is one of my favorite things to do. Everbee recently rolled out an email feature where you can send transactional emails to get more sales and more traction for your customers. So if you are interested in that, and you will see me using it today, you can go ahead and grab that in the description and check it out for yourself. So in my research, I found that I wanted to create some bridal invitations and maybe some things for wedding settings that people can download. And so what I've done here is I've just saved a few different ones from my research and inspo, and I'm going to start to recreate these in Canva on my own. So I kind of was looking at different color schemes, different fonts, and different things that are included on these invitations. And this really opens up a pretty broad niche for me because anything wedding related, we have bridal party invitations, wedding invitations, and we also have other things like menus or bar cart signs, different stuff like that, that essentially people would want to edit on their own. So once I have that idea, I can jump right over to Canva and I can start creating my template or my design. And what's so great about Canva is they actually give you a lot of different templates that you can use and work with. But before I tell you that, I want you to have a really key piece of information, which is you are not allowed to just take a Canva template and resell it as your own. You must add to it, recreate it, pretty much make it completely different than what it looks like, but essentially using it as the bones or the structure of your template or invitation or whatever it is that you're creating. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not telling you to grab a Canva template and start selling it. That's illegal. You can't do that. But what you can do is use their template to create something of your own. So I found this template on Canva under bridal shower templates, and I went ahead and started making it my own by, as I mentioned, using it as pretty much the bone structure and for some inspiration, while also using what I found on Etsy when I was doing research. So you can see here, I'm just changing out the text that I want it to be, moving things around. And then I actually went over to Creative Fabrica and I downloaded some flower images. Now you can see them here. I downloaded them with a print-on-demand license and also just a license to use them for commercials. So that's okay. And then I just uploaded those into Canva so that I could use them for my design, which you will be seeing here. And I do have a link for Creative Fabrica that is actually pretty special because it gives you 10 free downloads and then it renews the subscription cheaply. So if you do want to check that out, I do recommend it because this will help you to stand out in your designing process. I use it literally all the time and I have so many different fun things that I've downloaded from there, from fonts, graphics, and even mockups. So that will be linked below for you if you do want to check that out. I then just use those flowers to create a border here. And I could even put these in multiple different places and create a few different variations if I wanted to. And then I'm just playing around with it here. And if I were to share this as a template link, the customer would be able to change out the name and all of the different fonts according to how they like it. So see how this can appeal to many different designs as well. Then added a QR code as an aspect to stand out. This is something you can do on Canva, but make sure that you give your customer instructions so that they know that they can do it too. And then you can see that the design's finished and I went ahead and just used that template as I showed you, but it also looks nothing like my final design. I was using it for the bones, the structure, for different things to put on the invitation, and I did use inspiration from those Etsy listings as well. Another pro tip that I want to give you for this is that if you have a Canva Pro account, to be aware that when you sell these templates later on Etsy, your buyer will need to have a Canva Pro account in order to download that as you see it. So once your template is finished, all the graphics and elements that you have there, your buyer needs to have access to. Now, if you do choose to use pro elements, that is fine, but you need to be sure in your Etsy listing that you state that the buyer must have a Canva Pro account in order to access that template. So once you have your product created, you may be wondering, how am I supposed to sell this to a customer? How are they supposed to get access to it if I don't know them and without me having to go through and give them access every time? So as I said earlier, Canva allows you to do this. So when you go to export your design, there will be a link that says share link. Now, this is actually not the link that we're going to be using. You can use that link, but if the customer does not create a copy of that, they'll start to edit the actual link. So it gets a little bit confusing. So right underneath that, there is another thing that says template link. That is the one that we want to grab and we want to keep hold of. So what that is essentially access to them to access the template that you just created. So it's a really important link and you want to keep a close eye on it. You can add it to your notes section or add another folder in your Canva account to keep track of this. Once you've done this, we are not quite done there. We actually have to create a file that we can upload onto our Etsy listing so that our customer can get this link. So on Etsy, when you go to create a digital link, which is totally allowed, they unfortunately don't allow you to just upload a website link. You have to upload a PDF. And so what we need to do in Canva is create an instructional guide PDF that includes this link that we just grabbed from our Canva template. This is really easy to do. All you have to do is create a PDF link with that link highlighted in the middle that says click here. And then you can download that with instructions to give to your buyer. So once they purchase from your Etsy listing, that is the actual page that they're receiving. They're not going to just receive the link to go right to Canva. They're receiving that page that you create so that they can go ahead and click on that and then be redirected to Canva. Now, once you've done both of these things, you're ready to create your Etsy listing and upload everything. So there's a lot of key points when it comes to creating an Etsy listing. If you do want to see a full in-depth tutorial of me doing keyword research and uploading a product, I'll leave a video for you below that you can reference after this one. But essentially, to create your listing, you would go up to your Etsy seller account and create a new listing. You then can select that it is a digital product, so that way there's no shipping involved and Etsy understands that they'll be sending the customer an instant download. You can then right away upload that PDF that we just created and put that directly as the link that the customer will receive when they download the product. The most important part in this is going to be your keywords and your mockup photos. So these are a step that we really cannot skip. Now, back when I was having you do research in your niche and you were saving products for inspiration, you were probably able to get a pretty good idea of different mockups that people are already actively using to sell their digital products. And if they're having success, as we saw on the Everbee, we can see that those types of photos are working for that product. And again, we're not fixing what's not broken. So we're just going to use that information and recreate it in our own with our own style. So what you can do is use Canva again and create in this specific dimension, because this is an Etsy listing photo size as of now when I'm recording this video. And what you can start to do in that dimension size is make mock-ups of your digital product. Now, pro tip, you can even buy some pre-made mockup templates, which is funny because we're selling templates, but you can buy these on Etsy if you want to speed up this process, or you can save a little bit of money and recreate that yourself. And it's simple to do, but the key thing in this is making sure that your customer knows that they're downloading a digital download and not a physical product. So we're always going to make sure in our mockups to include that on the screen in all of the photos. So here's an example of what some mockup photos would look like that we would want to use for our digital product. And if you even want to add a video in there, bonus points, because these do really well as well. And the next step would be to get our keywords and putting those in our tags and titles and the description of our Etsy listing, because in order to have an optimized Etsy listing, we need to do all of these things. And keywords in our title is definitely hands down the most important in order to ensure that we're getting in front of the right audience. So I would just use Everbee again to do the same exact process of looking up what listings are doing great, the ones that I saved, and making a title based off of those different words. Now, again, we're not copying someone's original title, but we can use what different keywords they're using and create our own title. You can also create a simple description utilizing some of those keywords, but giving enough information for your customer on how they can access the template, and so that they make sure to understand that it is a digital product. If there's one thing I can stress enough, is just making sure that the customer knows that, so that they don't message you after they've purchased it and say, hey, why isn't my product shipped? You want to make sure that they're aware of that. And so just reiterating that and the instructions in the description will help you out. Your pricing as well is pretty interesting in this too, because again, this is just an instant download and it's a template. So a lot of the times, depending on what product you're selling and how intricate it is, the price may be low or the price could be higher. For instance, if you're making a template for a Shopify website or different social media templates, you can typically charge more than you can for just one single digital invitation. Now, a key pro tip to this is creating bundles, which you can do by sharing all of the links on that PDF, like I said earlier. And that way, by giving that customer access to a bundle, you can charge a higher amount. And again, every time you make a sale, It's passive income because you're not physically shipping anything, and it's straight profit besides and minusing your Etsy fees. If you're unsure how to price your item, just go ahead and look back at some of the listings and take an average pretty much price to add to your listing to make sure that it's competitive, but while also you're still making a bit. If your Etsy shop is brand new, you can price really low in order to gain some momentum and then raise your prices per how many orders they start to get. Now, a great tip as well to get more eyes to a beginner Etsy shop, especially with digital products, is to post those mockups you created on Pinterest. Because what's so great about Pinterest is you can directly link your Etsy shop listing to a pin. And so you can just use those mockups you created, directly link your Etsy listing to it, and use some keywords, and that can drive more traffic to your pin and your Etsy store. I will leave a bunch of videos below of different tips that I think will be helpful to you if you would love to check them out. Everything is below that I talked about as well. And again, my name is Mac. Thank you so much. Let me know if this video was helpful to you and if I should create more like this one. And I hope to see you in the next video.